Two-stroke dirt bikes are amazing, snappy throttle, lightweight feel, and let's be honest, the best sound in motorsports. But when you watch Supercross or Motocross today, spotting a two-stroke feels like seeing a unicorn. So, four-strokes must be better, right? Well, hold on there, Moto Bro. Supercross and Motocross aren't the only types of riding out there. And if you're like most of us, you're not lining up at Anaheim 1 anytime soon. Turns out a lot of people still race and love two-strokes. So, which one should you ride? Let's talk about it. Still here? Nice. You passed the Moto Bro filter, respect. Today, I want to break down these two platforms, two-stroke versus four-stroke, from a non-biased, real-world perspective. Not just internet arguments, not just bro science. Just because you can ride a two-stroke on a motocross track doesn't mean it's the best tool for the job. But here's the real question. Is a two-stroke right for the kind of riding that you actually do? Let's break it down in a nice, easy list. Two camps. In one camp, we have two strokes, mixing gas and haul. In the other camp, we have the four strokes, our modern heroes, loved by all. Let's see where each type of riding falls. So we talked about Supercross and Motocross, or SX and MX. This is where four strokes really shine. They hook up better, they put the power down smoother, and they're easier to ride fast through the rough, rutted tracks. Less clutch work, fewer shifts, and that torque helps you clear jumps with way less effort. That's why almost every pro lines up on a four-stroke today. So SX and MX both head over to the four-stroke camp, without question. Off-road and trail riding? Now this is where the two-stroke really starts flexing. They're lighter, or at least they feel lighter. Modern two-strokes and four-strokes actually weigh about the same when you put them on the scale, but it's how they feel that matters. A two-stroke carries its weight lower and spins a smaller gyroscope, meaning it flicks around way easier. Shout out to gyroscopic forces. The two-stroke engine feels way less heavy when it's changing direction. So if you want something nimble and playful in the woods and on the trail, the two-stroke is the magic sauce. What about Enduro? I'm talking about traditional and Enduro GP style racing. This is fast-paced, timed racing through forests, fields, rough terrain. Basically, it's like motocross, but stretched out over a giant course. Here, four strokes, especially the 250 and 350 categories, absolutely crush it. They're planted at speed, pull hard through the fast sections, and stay stable when you're hammering across rough terrain. The 250 and 350s are still small bores, so they are really agile, which is great because Enduro, you never know what kind of terrain you're going to be going over. That's why guys like Josep Garcia absolutely dominate Enduro GP on the 250cc four strokes. Hard Enduro and Extreme Enduro. Now, if you're talking hard Enduro like Erzberg, Romaniacs, Sea to Sky, that's a totally different world. Here, two strokes rule. It's all about nasty climbs, slippery rocks, log crossing, riverbeds, stuff that would eat the heavier feeling bikes alive. Two strokes have instant torque. They can go from lugging to max RPM in a snap. And they can crawl at super low RPM without stalling or overheating. This is something that four strokes really can't do. You really have to use the clutch a lot on the four stroke, and it's a lot more work to do. It's definitely possible, but there's a reason that the 300cc two stroke absolutely dominates at these races. These reasons are why almost every top hard enduro rider is still on a two stroke, like Manny Lettenbichler or Billy Bolt or Graham Jarvis. What about desert and like really high speed off-road stuff like Baja? Well, if you're hammering across the desert doing a Baja style race, a four stroke is usually your best friend, like without fail. They stay planted, have smoother power delivery, and you can hold them wide open without feeling like you're riding a ticking time bomb. Wide open terrain, it's four stroke time. GNCC or Grand National Cross Country. GNCC racing is a great equalizer between four strokes and two strokes. It's long, rough, fast in some sections, brutally slow and technical in others. You're racing for hours through woods, mud, roots, and ruts. Both platforms work here, depending on your style. A 250 four-stroke is super popular for its stability, traction, and being a little easier on the body late in the race. But a 300cc two-stroke is deadly for its aggressive snap, tight handling, and forgiving nature when you're tired and making mistakes. What about XC1, the pro class? You see more 454 strokes here just because of the raw speed that they bring to the table. But these guys are pro top riders. They're able to take that 450 and just manipulate it in a way that the average rider just can't do. Depending on the course, tight trees, mud, or wide open fields, some riders are still going to sneak on the podium on a two-stroke. It all depends on the course and the personal preference of the rider. This really doesn't go to either camp, but I'm gonna put it more towards the 4-stroke simply because those are the guys that are winning. Here's one that most Americans don't know, but in Europe is super popular. What about trials riding? Trials riding is its own crazy world. I adore trials riding personally, and I wish that more people would try it because it is the greatest teacher in moto. It's about balance, control, and extreme precision, not speed. You're hopping rocks, logs, ledges, and obstacles most people wouldn't even try to walk up, let alone ride a motorcycle up. Here, 2-strokes absolutely dominate. They're lightweight, ultra responsive, and that low RPM traction is perfect for that fine throttle control. 4-stroke bikes do exist, like the Montesa. I see you guys, I see you. I know you're itching to say it. But 2-strokes really do own this area. The only reason the Montesa really genuinely stands a chance, I'm gonna say it, is Tony Bow is amazing. I really think that 2-strokes dominate trials. Even though Tony Bow rides a 4-stroke, I think that man would dominate on a 2-stroke just as easily as he would on a 4-stroke. So to the trials riders, the 2-stroke is definitely the camp you're gonna be in. We can't forget adventure riders, guys. I know you, I see you guys out there. Adventure riding is all about covering miles, highways, gravel roads, mountains, and still doing some light off-roading. Here, 4-strokes are king. Why? Reliability over huge distances, smoother, torquier power, better fuel economy, and the ability to cruise at 60 to 80 miles per hour without screaming the engine to death. You're not cruising the continents on a 2-stroke unless you're like trying to break something for YouTube views or whatever. Even lightweight adventure bikes like the KTM 500 are 4-strokes for a reason. Adventure riders are definitely in the 4-stroke camp. But what about dual sport riding? Dual sport is like the do everything category. You hit the trails, ride the streets, no truck, no trailer needed. Here too, 4-strokes dominate. Again, reliability for the street miles, mellow enough to not overheat at stoplights, strong enough to pull you through the trails without burning up your clutch hand. Street-plated 2-strokes do exist, like my KTM 300 or the Beta 300, but they're for people who are doing more 90% dirt and 10% road like me, not the other way around. What about supermoto? There are a lot of guys that ride dirt bikes but never touch the dirt, and that's completely fine too. Supermoto is kind of a wild card though. You can race and ride a 2-stroke in supermoto. It's chaos in all the right ways. But most riders pick 4-stroke just because it's easier to control the wheelies and slides, it's easier to manage throttle coming out of a corner, and lots of good reasons, and they just feel more planted on asphalt because they're just more mellow overall. That linear power curve here really, really helps. Supermoto is kind of two worlds. There's supermoto racing, where it's all about precision through corners and just absolutely being able to slide that back end into a turn. But then there's also sumo, which is supermoto, but just kind of like being a hooligan and having fun, doing wheelies, doing stoppies, just being silly. And really, I think a big bore 4-stroke is king here, like a 450, like 350 minimum, 450 or 500. Sumo is just all about just having fun. And those machines in the 4-stroke world are just wheelie monsters. No matter what you do at any gear, you're going to do a wheelie. So supermoto and sumo, they both go in the 4-stroke category. Really, it all comes down to your riding style, your terrain, and what makes you grin the most. If you want lightweight, snappy, raw fun, go 2-stroke. If you want smooth, planted, easy to ride, fast and torquey, go 4-stroke. There's no wrong answer. There's just different tools for different jobs. And honestly, ride whatever gets you excited to put your helmet on. Personally, I love my 2-stroke, but if you asked me to line up on a 4-stroke tomorrow, you wouldn't hear me complaining. 2 wheels, throttle, good trails, that's the real win. The engine, that's just the flavor of the meal. If you enjoyed this and are more curious about the 2-stroke platform, I've got a video all about that. And common misconceptions about 2-strokes. Really like that video and cover a lot of topics about the 2-stroke engine. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.